Welcome to the Dota 2 wrap-up, where we wrap up the last week of Dota 2. I'm your host, DJWheat.
Please listen carefully.
This week, I wanted to briefly talk about the new Anti-Mage persona, the Disciples Path, that was released as part of the TI-10 Battle Pass. Most of the community is divided after its release, with those against it saying the lack of effects and overall look of the persona pales in comparison to that of the Quap Arcania. When comparing the two, it's quite obvious which tailors greater to the sex appeal, but many say the difference between the concept art of the Anti-Mage persona and the final product differ too greatly. Those in support of the changes made since the concept art often bring up the subject of a better representation of women in video games, with MoxieCast tweeting out that it better reflects an extremely athletic build of a woman. This has not stopped the Reddit threads from pouring in, poking fun at the manliness of the new model. That being said, syndereN became an advocate for the new persona as he delved into all the new voice lines that this new Dota 2 character had in store.
I just don't want Valve to see that they spent all this time not on the model, but on the personality and the voice and the writing, and nobody fucking appreciates it.
In recent results, the One Esports Dota 2 C-League came to a close this Sunday with a few surprises. Ferev's T1 roster was able to place 4th overall after finishing 7th in the group stages. TNC also had their best performance in the last 3 months, placing 3rd. This left Fnatic and GeekFam to battle it out in the finals. In Game 1, Fnatic was able to maintain a net worth and EXP lead for most of the game, and began to fall apart around the 37 minutes. In Game 2, GeekFam was able to secure an early lead, and after overextending in mid, Fnatic was able to quickly snowball out of control for their first victory in the series. Game 3 was a continuous back and forth until Fnatic was able to gain a net worth lead and secure Roshan. Unfortunately, after 2 bad back-to-back fights into Raven's Terrorblade, GeekFam was able to walk down mid and just take the game. Unfortunately for Fnatic, Game 4 was incredibly one-sided, with Raven's Anti-Mage going 11-0 and the final score being 43-7 in favor of GeekFam. This made GeekFam the One Esports Dota 2 C-League champions. In player interviews, Position 6 hosted by Dan Offman sat down with Quincy crew's Quinn, formerly known as CCNC. They discussed the importance of team mentality over individual player skill, and how the online regional tournament ecosystem compares to that of traditional LANs. In recent roster changes, Hellraisers' Rodjer followed through with his speculation on whether he'd be staying with the organization by announcing his departure from the team after only being with them for 4 months. In the C region, Team Adroit announced that their offlaner Bach would be released from the organization after only returning to the roster for 1 month. He'll be replaced by Bensoy, formerly from IPT Gaming. Also in the C region, we saw Neon Esports not re-sign their offlaner Rappy after being with the organization since 2018. He will be replaced on a temporary basis from former offlaner for TNC, Sam H. Serbia organization Tempo, mostly known for representing Serbia in the WESG, announced the acquisition of former Bait support LeBronDota and former Team Singularity support DNZ. NIP also announced that Evil Genius's Crit would be standing in as Position 5 during the OGA Dota Pit Season 2 Europe. In podcasts last week, We Say Things featuring SUNSfan and syndereN took the time to review all the sets in the Collector's Cache and then briefly discuss the AM persona.
Actually kind of looks like tiny dicks.
I can see the head of the penis. This is a circumcised penis, by the way. I would have more expertise on what that looks like.
The Sidepull podcast, hosted by DotaCapitalist and Leafator, welcomed esports veteran and head of creator development at Twitch, DJWheat. They discussed the legacies and the future of esports, all the DMCA claim issues involving Twitch, and life in general. Coming up this week, the OGA Dota Pit Season 2 Grand Finals kicks off tomorrow at 2100 CET, featuring Thunder Predator versus Quincy crew. The playoffs of the DPL-CDA Professional League Season 2 kicks off this Wednesday. The Grand Finals are set for this Sunday at 10 a.m. CET. In the Great American Rivalry Division 1, Quincy crew will be completing the rest of their group stage matches this week, trying to land a top spot in the group, while Business Associates will have to bounce back from an upset of a 2-series loss. Finally, the Moon Studio Asian League Chinese Qualifier will be concluding this week, with Blaze already sitting comfortably ahead of the rest of the competition with a 3-0 lead in the group stages. That's all for the Dota 2 wrap-up. I'm your host, DJWheat.
Please listen carefully.